Hello, good day everyone. Good day guys. First of all, I would like to apologize for being not able to come to class um, from today, Monday up to Wednesday, because I will be staying home. I'm taking actually on leave because my wife is on bed rest, bed rest kay buntis and there's certain blood clot no, inside the uterus and she needs to take rest and of course as husband I need to be here also because I will be the one to take care of my wife, because we're only three in the family and usually during weekdays we are left behind they are left behind. I can't go because it's also my responsibility and it's my freedom too, no? It's my freedom and it's also my responsibility to be here, no? That's why to somehow mitigate that responsibility that I have with you also, since I'm supposedly if I'm not here at home, I would be there having classes with you. So like what we do, no, like what we discussed on a moral dilemma. It's a moral dilemma for me, to go or this both of these decisions have a moral bearing. So well, I choose to stay with my family and to somehow make it a win-win solution. I made this video recording for you guys so that we will not be left behind on our classes. All right, so we are ending module 1. We are ending module 1, the basics of ethics, and in this lesson I will be discussing freedom and responsibility. As what I've said just now, that I demonstrated the importance of freedom and the responsibility that comes along with freedom. So this lesson will discuss the foundation of morality. That the foundation of morality, uh, like uh, what we have discussed in the first lesson when I told you that man as a rational animal is actually one of the basic assumptions of ethics, no? Now another basic assumption is this, that morality is based on freedom and responsibility. Yeah. Now in this lesson we will be discussing that, no, morality, freedom and responsibility, and we will also discuss the significance of ethics and why is it important, no, in making a moral choice. So in this class you are expected that in the end of the lesson we will be able to explain why freedom and responsibility is crucial in ethics. No, anong importante man si freedom and responsibility, no? Siguro you have all these questions. You ask yourself, you ask everyone, are we free? No? Since like sa balay, pugan man tayo magpapa. Sa pag-eskwela, si ako mang auntie ang nagpuyo, no? I do not have the freedom to choose my course. But are you really not free? No, these are things that we will try to probe, no, here in our discussion on freedom and responsibility. Now, it is very crucial in ethics. Another is um, you will be able to expound the responsibility of having freedom. Now, of course, we will be realizing in the end that we are free, but with freedom comes responsibility. No? Kung kang Spider-Man na siya, with great power comes great responsibility. Ato is with freedom. As humans, we are free. With freedom, we also have a certain responsibility as a consequence to that freedom. As a consequence to that freedom. Okay, so in this lecture, the content of my discussion is, first we will be defining freedom and what is the relationship of freedom and responsibility, and then responsibility, who is responsible for one's action, and of course to make sure that you are really listening, no, there's a learning task in the end of the discussion. So yes, let's go to the next slide. here. Now, if you can remember, in our previous discussion, the elements of a human act, we said that for a human act to be a human act, you should have knowledge. You should also be free and voluntariness. No, it's something that you will. No? You will it. No, that is why when you say human action, it only becomes a human action when you are knowledgeable, when you are free and voluntary. No, wakagipugos. Now, freedom is very essential in morality. No, that you will not qualify to be a moral entity without it. No, meaning, freedom is very essential in morality. We make moral decisions. No? We make moral actions. No? We make human actions. Now, these human actions, di na to ni siya masud sa ethics kung why freedom, no, ang moral entity with nga naa dinha. So kinsa man si moral entity, it's the moral agent, no. So why morality, kung wa tanan, kung wa tay freedom, no. That is the very reason ngano nga ang human act, when we say human act, there is always voluntariness, there is always freedom, and naa ang knowledge, no. Mo na siya, no. For instance, no, a plant is not free. Okay? Is a plant free? Makapili ba ang plant? Does the plant have choices? No, they are not. No? Other animals too. No, they are not. It's only man that is free. No? That is why, in the world of ethics, only man is the moral agent. No? We cannot say that a dog is a moral agent. We cannot say that a cat is a moral agent. No? Only man. No? Because man, the actions of man, because ang action sa tao, it comes from his intellect, comes from his will, and that makes him free. No? Um, we have to consider, class, that before a certain action is being made, no? In the elements of human act, you have there, first you have the knowledge, yeah. So knowledge, and then freedom, and the voluntariness. No, meaning intellect and will. No, before it becomes an action, before it becomes a human action, it must have passed through your intellect. Yeah, and from that intellect, because you are now knowledgeable, you have the choices on what to do. You will, no, imuhang kabubuton, you know, you push your will. Kung unsa man ganitong nisod sa imong intellect, you push your will para mao to imong mabuhat. That's the human action. No, that's the human act. No, because it's voluntary. It comes from your intellect, and then you will it. No, that makes it a human act. And because it's free, humans becomes a moral agent or a moral entity. No, now our being a moral entity comes from the fact that man is free. No, we are free. No, human beings, including you, tanan, no, we are capable of a moral choice because we are free. No, like in my example, I choose not to go to class because I am free to do what I want. I am free to do what I want. Yeah, I have a class, but still, I am also free not to go to class. No, but since it's my moral obligation, also, it's my moral responsibility to have classes with you. That's why, to make it a win-win solution, na why behind, I make this video presentation, no? So that it's like nagklase gyapon ta karong adlaw, no? Now, in this discussion, no, we will learn about freedom and responsibility, no. Now, according to Sartre, naingon si Sartre nga freedom uh, freedom refers to the very being of the human being, no? So meaning ang freedom di ay naa na to, no? Part na siya sa nature sa human being. Yeah, responsibility refers to the consciousness of being, no? The incontestable author of an event or of an object, no? Kita maoy author sa atong gibuhat, no? As human, kita ang author. We are the moral entity. What does this mean? That we as human beings do not just possess freedom, no? But we are freedom itself. Nga naman, we are freedom itself. Example, gipaskwela ka sa imong mama og sa imong kurso karon, no? Unya, kinsa may nagpa-enroll? Ikaw, you went to VSU, unya ikaw mismo ni enroll. Now, bisan pa og ingon imong mama ug papa nga mao ni i-enroll, no? Since ikaw man ning enroll, you still have the freedom. Dili nimo isuwat kung unsa ilang gusto, no? You're still free. No, in fact, not doing anything is also an exercise, is an exercise of freedom, no? Because you are free to do or not to do, no? Mo na karon nga example, mayngon imong mama nga eskwela ka ngadto mo nimong kurso, no? Na pressure ka sa imong mama, gi-pressure ka, for example, gi-pressure pud ka sa grado, no? Naara pud na nimo, no? You are free ka nga imong dawaton ang pressure or di, no? Ayaw mo pa pressure, balang ila kang pressureon, pero ikaw ko bahala mo diha, di kong pa pressure, no? Because you are free, no? You are free. That's freedom, no? Muna nga niingon si John Paul Sartre nga we are not only free but we are freedom itself, no? Dili rata kay free ta, but kita mismo embodied nato ang freedom. Everything we do it out of freedom, no? However, several authors would say also nga we are free to do moral actions, no? But we are not free when we do immoral actions, no? Daghan na po na siya og arguments, several critics also. For example, no, like katong ato ang usual nga example nga kung makapatay kag tao out of your emotions, you are not free. No, nganong dili man ka free? Because were you voluntary at that time? Was it voluntary? You were guided by your emotions. You were imprisoned by your emotions. That made you unfree, no? Libog, no? Kay mingon ta nga freedom is you are free to do anything, no? However, since we have this the freedom that's in the human act comes from your intellect and will, knowing intellect, which is inherent as to our being rational animals, mao na siya karon ang ni-determine nato kung unsay atong angay buhaton. With that angay buhaton comes will. So meaning, kung nabuhat na nimo out coming from your intellect and will, that should be a moral thing to do. Dili siya dapat nga immoral, no? Kung immoral na itong nabuhat, we are not free, no? Mo po na ingon sa several nga mga philosophers, no? But yes, no? That's what I've told you before. As rational animals, we have to exercise our freedom, and that freedom comes from our intellect, no? And intellect is our power, no, to rationalize and to balance things, no, based on several moral standards, no? Based on several moral standards. So muna siya. Now, nabay limits ang ato ang freedom? Wala. Who puts limits to our freedom? Kita ra, no? Kita ra mabutang sa limits sa atong freedom, no? Like for example, no, when you try to think, when you imagine, no, may ka nga may tapnang sa nga di man na ako kaya kay ingani raman ko, no? Kisa man nabutang og limit ana, ha? Was that imposed or that's you? It's you, no? You are free, but always be mindful that that freedom should come from your intellect and should come from your being rational. Hence, since it comes from your being rational, since it comes from your intellect, that freedom necessitates immoral action. Sabot mo guys, murag nagtikalawom na, no? Freedom and responsibility pag aning miwa patas sa mga theoretical frameworks, no? Pero sige lang, ato lang gud ning hinay-hinayon, no? Ay lang mo kakuan din ha, ay lang mo ka stress, no? Okay. No stress na ta bitaw. Okay, so next slide. For instance, no, kato ko ingon ganina, no, the choice of the degree. Yeah, bisag karon you are still not sure, no, it's your freedom, no. It's you who decide, it's your life, no. You are free not to you are free to follow or not to follow your parents. Mo ganito hisgot ang mga non-moral standards o moral standards, no. Uh, ang moral standards mo tong naay morality involved, pero ang non-moral standards like itong wearing ID dili lagi siya pero naagyapon siya in the end naagyapon siya morality moral moral bearing nga naman because it is done out of our free will. It is done out of our free will because we are free, no, because we are free. Yeah, so mo na, no, so denying your freedom is actually denying also your responsibility, no. When we are free, we are responsible for our action, no? So usually if you talk about being free, kasagaran na to, no, we forget to talk about being responsible, no, kaya to ramang yun nang free ko, why magbuot na ko, but in real talk, when you are free, everything that you do, you should be responsible, huh? You should be responsible. Now there's a question, no, is responsibility ba daw a limit to freedom? Of course not, no. Being free is being responsible. Mo lagi na, no, wrong gud atong concept of freedom, no, kay kasagaran natong concept of freedom is freedom in itself. One at una nga this freedom should be founded from intellect and will, which propels our human act. Mao na siya freedom. That's why when we do something, when we have a human action, consequences of that, we should be responsible, no, because in the end we are the author of our choice, no. Part of being author of our choice, no, with all the choices kita ni pili because we are free, coming from our intellect and will. As author of these choices, we are also accepting, no, as being responsible, as being responsible, we are accepting that we are free. That's why being free is being responsible. No? Being free is being responsible. So kung if you are irresponsible, you are not free. Yeah? Nagtikalibog ng world, no? But yeah, maro gyud na siya. To make it very simple, no, atong balikon sa giingon kanina nako, no, nga naa intellect, naa ang will, naa ang moral action, no. Your moral action, which is always a human act, no, should have passed through your intellect and to your will, no. And then those who come to your intellect comes from your senses, no. So mura na siya og kung ato na siyang i-flow chart, nagsugod na siya sa senses nimo, no, goes to your intellect, and then sa imong intellect dito na nimo gibahin-bahin ng mga option, imong gibansay-bansay, and then it goes to your will, and then pag abot nimo sa will, then the human action. Asa di napita ang freedom? It's the choice of the human action. And of course, being a human action, there is also responsibility that comes with it. There is responsibility, no. Das mo nga natay freedom. Now, after freedom, there is responsibility. We should be responsible for our actions, no? Ato ning ibutang diri sa environment nga side. We are free to throw garbage anywhere. Pwede tayo maglabog sa garbage diha sa tubangan sa classroom. Pwede na ito nabuhaton. Pwede po tayo malabog sa itong basura nga ito sa trash can, sa malatsa o di malatsa, no? Karon unsa may mag-push na to sa paglabog ana nga basura nga to sa tarong nga labuganan? It's our intellect, no? Now panang sabi taw sa kay bawtang sayop no pataka paghapon tag labog, no, but kuntahan labog ka ditong basura karon naday balaod ana, Pag pangutana kin sa naglabog ana, ikaw mismo, no? You're the author of the action. Being the author of the action, it's your responsibility now. No? Kung naay balaod di ako ano na, manubag ka. No? Manubag ka. Yeah? So, no, so man siya, no? Parang sa manpod, one thing that we do is mingon ito, siya man good, no? Siya man good, no? Siya man good, no? We blame others. We blame others, no? Where in fact, sa tinuuray lang, it's not them, it's us. No, bisan pa og naay pressure nila, we are free to follow them or not, no? We should not blame others, we have to blame ourselves. No, because we were free when we do such things, we had the options. So what comes out from this freedom is we have to be responsible for those actions. No? That's freedom and responsibility, class. No, that's freedom and responsibility. Yeah. So what you need to understand when it comes to responsibility is that you are the author of your actions. So you have to answer whatever consequences that resulted from your choice. So you are freedom itself. No, your words, your gestures, your styles are yours. Now again, being free is being responsible. Now sometimes you focus so much on whatever you want to do without anything because you are free. No? Waka mo ganahan na sa responsibility. Still, you forget that freedom and responsibility are inseparable. No? That's why you usually make excuses and many times you blame other people for what you have done. Tinuod yun na, no? Hilig taog 2-point fingers. Okay, sa sadaan, no? But kung ito naon, it's still our freedom. No? Kung evening mukuan ba ta, no? Hilig yun taog, sila manggod, mo nananay ko kay kamu manggod, no? You have to remember that when you define responsibility, responsibility comes from the terms response and ability. So, which means that, which means that being able, no, to respond, the ability to respond to our actions. Yeah. Now, the point of responsibility towards others is that your moral choice will always affect you and your surroundings. No, our moral choices, di ba? Naghisgot naman tag moral dilemma. Lahi-lahi man to sila nga lahi man to nga part ato ang kung sa tong desisyon na ay maapektuhan, no? So, meaning whatever we do, whatever choice that we do, it will affect everybody in our surroundings, the people around, the environment, and whatever. No, na siya mga ripples. No? You may not be able to see it through maybe because you cannot comprehend your own decisions and consequences that follow. No? That is why you all need to continue searching for the truth to understand your moral compass. No? And if you go back to the monument of the search for truth, you can see that the person there is not alone, meaning you're not alone is searching for the right moral choice. Now, once you have digested all learnings here and accomplished the task, now we can proceed to the next module, no? Ang sunod nga module. We have to consider, no, nga mao gyud na, no? Ang ato ang mga ipambuhatanan, everything that we do, na hay consequences and it will affect others, no? Now, since it affected others, it's our responsibility. Like for example, kadtong trolley case. Sayon nakita na kaingon nga adto pa dong sa lima nga mga parahubog, no? Dili ngadto sa bata, no? However, sa ato ang pag-ana sa trolley ngadto pa dong sa mga parahubog, we are responsible for their life. We are responsible for their life. Same pud sa uban nga mga moral dilemma nga atong gihisgutan, no? Since it affect other people, whatever the consequence of our moral action, we are responsible. No? That's why freedom and responsibility. We are free, however, with that freedom, we have to be responsible. No? We cannot say that we are not free because we are freedom in itself. Everything we do is out of freedom. No? Human act. No? Elements of the human act includes being free. And this being free to choose should the choice that we make should come from our intellect, no? Propelled to the will para makahimo ta og human action. This human act should be a moral action. no, because kuha na siya kumara ba o given na ba given no nga it should have come from the intellect. Okay, so basically class mo na siya, no? So for your learning task, it's very simple, no? In 5 sentences, just feel free to write anything about the lesson, no? Feel free and be responsible also, huh, for what you have written. Huh? Feel free to write and be responsible. Okay, so I guess that's all for today. No, that's all for this session. Next meeting, it's Thursday. We are already by Thursday. Our discussion has ended, no, for module 1. So prepare for a long quiz on Thursday. No? I will give you a long quiz on Thursday. I will not make it online na lang, no? Just a long quiz. I will give you a long quiz. Before midterm, we will be having 2 long quizzes and of course the learning task. No? Kana ra, moro na ito ang basis sa inyong grade. No? The midterm exam, 2 long quizzes. Long quizzes will be made after every module. Like today, we have finished 5 lessons already for 1 module, so we will be having a long quiz on Thursday. Alright? Sige. So, thank you for now and see you on Thursday class. Bye-bye.